Good morning, everyone. Kathleen here from Ireland, from Mayo, Ireland, from Claremorris to be specific. I'm here giving you blogs about my time here in Ireland, which should be almost 4 months. It'll be about 16 weeks total, and giving you a perspective from someone who was born and raised in the US and what I'm finding, what life is like living here day to day. Mostly it's about what I'm doing day to day, because I thought this was going to be pretty humdrum life, just me getting up and shopping and doing my wash and things like that. But instead it has turned out to be similar to vacation, because I'm still going out and about, meeting people, seeing lots of sights. So it is what it is. It's a combination of living here and also places to see and do if you're a tourist. And I'm at weeks 13 and 14. Again, I am combining them. Sorry about that, but life just gets away from me and I just don't have time to get the blog done. So the time period is the 24th of July to the 6th of August. And where am I at? Well, I'm sad. I'm very sad because counting down, I only have 10 days till I leave Mayo. I usually stay overnight the last night in Dublin, at the Dublin Airport Hotel. And I won't be going into Dublin this year. Sometimes I, will spend that last day before last just walking around Dublin, but I'm not going to do that because there's been a lot of crime in Dublin lately. Had a visitor here from the US and she was robbed, and it was in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And there was also that story of the guy who was beat up. So Dublin doesn't feel that safe to me, but West Ireland definitely does. And you have to take that with a grain of salt too, because Ireland doesn't have much crime. So when it does have crime, it talks about it. I mean, honestly, being in Philadelphia or a major city, you're going to have a lot of crime and you're not even going to have it reported on. But things are changing. Just be wary. Be aware when you come in, and make sure you know your surroundings, and just be careful. That's all. So again, I have about 10 days till I leave Mayo, and then that last night in the airport hotel. And what have I done over the last 2 weeks? Well, unlike what I thought this blog was going to be about, I thought it was going to be about just what daily life is, living in Ireland, getting up, making breakfast, doing all that stuff, and not really what it has been in past years. I've been coming here since 2015 every year, except for the year of the epidemic. And those years were, a big party, because I'm here for a short time and I'm packing it in with sights and places to see. Well, I'm not packing it in, but it does feel like I'm still seeing a lot of people, doing a lot of things, and I'm very, very grateful for that. I think that's just what my life would be like here. It's always going to be exploring and visiting, and I think that's why I love it here, because I have a bigger social arena than I do in Pennsylvania. So it is what it is. And what have I done over the last 2 weeks? Well, I've gone a couple of different places, but it's been mostly about going back to my youth. I mean, in particular, there was one night that I spent with some cousins. They picked me up on a Sunday afternoon. And the reason was that they were having some visitors from the US who are part of my Facebook group, and I wanted to meet them. And so I stayed overnight with them. And it wasn't anything special. I mean, first we sat around the kitchen table, had some people coming in, just a little talking, but a lot of laughter. I mean, I am generalizing here, but the Irish are really funny, and it can be great lots and lots of laughter, and not saying there's not the non-funny person, but it just seems like there's a lot of laughs to be had in Ireland, which is very nice. It's all about joy, right, folks? All about joy in your life. So we sat around, and then we went out to a local pub, Spellman's Bar in Balladrine, and it's just a local little pub, but it's big enough for the crowd of us. We took up 2 tables about. There was quite a number of us, and just sat with them, got to find out what their life was like, and got to put the face to the name. I have lots of people that I know and I've never met, and it really makes a difference when you interact with them in person. So did that, and then we went home, and a small part of us, the group, went off to an Airbnb that they had rented. Very nice place that I had stayed with my cousin in February. And then just a handful of us went back to the cottage I was staying in, and then there were some staying in the cottage next door. Well, this was the best night of my time here. I've had lots of good times. I'm hoping for lots more good times, but it was just doing karaoke on the TV. I've never done karaoke, believe it or not. I don't think I have. At least I don't remember doing it. I mean, most people have gone to bars and done it. I just don't know why, but I've never really done it, or never been a part of it, let's say. I've never sung. And I was made to sing, and to their unfortunate ears, let's say, because I am not a singer. But we were singing, and then we got up and we were dancing. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Drexel Hill, Delaware County in Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia, and you know Archbishop Prendergast and Monsignor Bonner High Schools. Well, I went to Archbishop Prendergast, and Monsignor Bonner would have these dances, which I'm sure lots of you have done similar things, but was dances from the all-boys school, and of course lots of girls from the all-girls school came on a Saturday night. And the dances were such that, like, downstairs you could get soda and water and things like that. No alcohol, but you could get soda and water, and you'd have the dance floor above you, and that floor was a rockin'. It was a rockin' and a moving, because you were doing the stomp, and it was just fabulous. The music was blaring, and it was just fabulous. Well, picture that. Picture me now at this age, and I am again reliving a Bonner mixer. We were all doing it. I mean, most of them were bombed. I hadn't had anything except for 2 highballs when I was at Spellman's Bar. And yes, you heard me right, highball, which was the drink of choice of my parents. It's basically whiskey and ginger ale. Not a 7 and 7, because it's not 7-Up, it's ginger ale. Because when you go to a local pub here, they're not going to have the kind of drinks I want. There's no martinis, there's no sweet drinks. It's beer or liquor. So I had highballs, but that had worn off. So I got to sit back and just watch these folks. And I still participated. It was just the best. We were up till like almost 3:30, I think. And I mean, this is a gal goes to bed at 8:30, and I was up and I was dancing and I was singing and we were laughing, and it was just so much fun, so much fun. And you don't think you're gonna have that again, but I really did go back in time. So that was one night that was really memorable. And the next day I got up and I got dropped off at my apartment later in the day. I did have a meal with them, which was really nice, and the host made a really nice meal. And they picked me up a couple of nights later after that to go to Knock, and we had a nice dinner there and walked around the town. But let me go day by day and let you know what I did. So the start of the 2-week period, I went to a place called Beliek Castle. Yes, I got to go in a castle. And basically, this was a home that was owned by a man who was crazy. He was like my dad. He was the ultimate junk collector, but his junk had a theme. So there was armor, there was stuff from a boat, you know, a bar that was made out of the remains of a shipwrecked boat. I got to try on armor. So I'll put together a little slideshow showing you photos from that. And I also, during that time, had a visitor. So I guess the last 2 weeks were about visitors, because I had a visitor, someone who lives part of the time in England, part of the time in Ireland, mostly in Ireland. And she's been with me since I started coming, and so it was lots of fun to hang out with her. And she stayed here in the little apartment that I'm in. And then, of course, I had the U.S. visitors later in the week that I got to meet. So we went to Beliek Castle, then we stopped at Rush's grocery store, which if you haven't gone to one of these little grocery stores, this guy has been around forever. Lovely, lovely man. And it's a little shop out of his home, little grocery store, and it's used. I mean, people shop in there. The things aren't old and out of date. They're fresh, and prices aren't crazy. You might even get a bargain. But I always stop there when I'm picking up a cake when I'm going to go visit someone. And I was going to visit someone later in the week, so I wanted to pick up a little cake there, and I got to visit with Martin, which is always great fun. He teased me because when I got out of the car, his son was coming out of the house, and I said, "Is your dad in?" And he said, "Oh, he's off in the U.S." And I'm thinking, this is a 90-plus man, and he's in the U.S. But I believed it, because this guy gets younger every year. And so I went into the shop anyway because I wanted to get the cake. And there he is, and they're both laughing their heads off at me because they got me. So did that, and then we went out to dinner that night. The next day we went to Athlone and got to meet a bunch of ladies from different areas of my life, but it was the same group that I met with last year, and so it was kind of cool. It's like a flashback in time to sit around and have a chat with all these ladies. And when we first got to Athlone, before we were meeting up with them, I saw the cathedral of, I don't know if it's a cathedral, but it's a church of St. Peter's and Paul. And that was pretty cool because I had like kind of a moment in there and really felt spiritually connected, and it was really nice. And then afterwards, we made a quick look at the Athlone Union Workhouse, what remains of it, and it's still being used, but I mean, you couldn't really tell except there's a plaque on one of the side of the building telling you it was a workhouse. And then there was a Franciscan abbey across the street, which was really unique, and I'm going to do a little video on that because there were all these tombstones lined up and down and all around the abbey, like standing side by side by side by side, like lots and lots of them. And then you walk inside the ruins of the abbey, and they're all around the perimeter. I think this was the tombstones were from people who had either gone to the abbey, like maybe brothers, but there was also regular people. I think it was a cholera epidemic, but unusual because of the fact that these stones were just really old and they're just lined up side by side, which was really great because if you go into a graveyard, they're going to be the stones that you can't read and they're falling apart. So it was kind of neat to see that. We ate at a garden center, which I would really highly recommend doing in Ireland. They have them here and there where they're little shops. They're not little, they're actually like going into a garden center where you can buy all kinds of plants, and so it's pretty. And then they have a cafe inside that's usually run by an outside vendor, and the food's really good and not expensive. And so food was very good, and the conversation was great. And then to say goodbye to my friend who was staying here, we had a long lunch. with another friend, and so of course that was great fun to just chat. And I mean, it was going on and on. I was afraid she was going to miss her husband picking her up. And then I spent some days around here. You know, I walked the town and I did some videos. I'll post them too, of just what it's like to walk around. I'm trying to think, Claremorris. I always want to say Castlebar, but it's Claremorris. And then I had a night where I was invited out by the younger generation. Not so young anymore, but they'd be my son's age, and they would be the children of a cousin of mine that I hung out with a lot here. And actually her daughter wanted to take me out to dinner, wanted to spend time with me going out to dinner, and her son joined us. And so that was really nice. And then the daughter and the mother and I went off for drinks afterwards, and the son went back to the house to be with his dad. And then I also spent a day where I found a park nearby. I did do a video where I walked around this park, and I had really bad shoes on the day and I got stuck. But this was actually down the road a bit in another park that is around a couple of lakes. So that was really pretty and very serene, like no one around, and the flowers were beautiful. I mean, this July has been horrendous with rain and cold. So of course the flowers are doing really well. And it was a place called Mayfield Lake. And then what else did I do? Let's see. We went to Knock. I told you about that, which was nice. And walked around town. I had a pop-in visit, which is always fun. I mean, it's really kind of old-fashioned, right? People just popping in. My Uncle Mike used to do that. He'd just go out on a Sunday night and pop in to all the relatives. And poor Brian, my cousin, had to go along with them. And then to end the 2-week period, I actually connected with someone yesterday who saw the article in the paper about me, about wanting to try out Ireland. And she's in the same boat as me. She's been in and out of Ireland. She runs a summer theater program in Dublin, and she wants to split her time. And she's living right near my sister in a town in Pennsylvania, not far from where I live, and probably knew some of the people I knew growing up because we lived pretty close to each other and we're the exact same age. And she has kids at home and I have kids at home. So she really wanted to just connect with someone to find out my experiences. I think Dublin's going to be a different experience. It's not one that I'd want because I don't really get that warm fuzzy feeling from Dublin that I do out in the west of Ireland. But you know, she's making do, and she actually is enjoying it. She's staying in a town outside of Dublin, so she is making the connections. I think if you're going to come here, the smart thing to do is try to hook up with groups that are based in Ireland. Like I hooked up with that Mayo genealogy group. In my case, I also got to meet people online because I was exploring my family tree. So I was finding people and sending emails and all that stuff way before I came. And then every time I come, I add to my group of friends. I mean, I'll walk around town, I'll meet someone. I'm out to find everyone in Ireland that's related to me. I think you all are, as my kids will say. So that was the last 2 weeks. And today I'm off to another festival. And tonight I'm going to a little music thing that's held in the Kilmavie Heritage Center. And they do it the first Monday of every month. They were canceled last Monday, so I'm going to do tonight. And so still doing lots of stuff, but I am really counting down and realizing I'm going to be gone. If it wasn't for the fact that I have a lot of things going on this fall, I think I'd be coming back this fall. But I have talked to the person I'm renting from, and I've made arrangements to come next spring and next fall. he's going to use the apartment in the middle of summer, which is fine because I don't want to come back in July again. I think the best time is spring, maybe going into June, and definitely September, maybe part of August, but definitely September and part of October are the best times to come here. And I will be sad because the field across the way, they're putting up houses, but I'm hoping that things will move slow and it'll still be a field when I come back next year. So that's about it. And very sad, but looking forward to today. And thanks for bearing with me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye. Take care.